I'm Bill Lampton here with Winston Williams, the General Manager of the Olive Garden Restaurant in Gainesville, Georgia. Here's Winston greeting two guests, Taylor and Lois Towle, as he often greets guests just inside the door of the restaurant. He is a veteran manager and a very successful general manager. One thing that makes me appreciate his success is because I personally spent more than 20 years in management. And anyone who has done that knows that things are very different from one side of the desk to the other. Management may look easy, but there's an old saying, anything done by an expert looks easy. And I am talking to an expert today, Winston Williams, who makes management look easy. Good to talk to you. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill, for having me. It's great to be here with you.
And on the topic of management, as I say, you're a very successful manager. The customer surveys show that things have gone very, very well at your restaurant here in Gainesville, Georgia, and then for quite a few years before that. So tell us, please, Winston, what are some of the keys to effective management that you know from your experience?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is ensuring that you understand how to engage people. Engaging people in the process to take care of other people can be very difficult from times. But as a manager, your ultimate goal is to ensure that you push the necessary buttons to get the most out of every individual. The difficult part comes and when those buttons are not the same with everyone.
That's right. That's right. Each person is unique. Each worker will respond with their own needs and their own habits, so you have to address each one individually.
And you're absolutely right, and that really comes from a manager really getting to know their team, really getting to know each individual, each person as an individual, ensuring that you know what the goals of your people are. And I've said many times that if you know the goals of your people, help them achieve their goals so that they will certainly help you achieve yours.
And as you've said before in talking about management, they certainly have to know what the organization's goals are.
And that's very true because at the end of the day, we still work for someone. And those goals are filtered from the top to us. And as a general manager, is obviously my goal to ensure that my managers that work with me, work underneath me, understand what those goals and those procedures for attaining those goals are. And then how are they going to filter those same goals to the team members to get the most out of them as well. So management is a big deal, but it can be very difficult if you don't have the right communication and you certainly don't understand the goals and the process of doing so.
I would imagine that in most management situations, listening to your people is equally as important, maybe more important than talking to the people who work for you.
That's a very great point, Bill, because you're not going to understand their goals unless you're listening to what their desires are, what their goals are. I think one of the key to my success is ensuring that I'm sitting down with each individual, giving them one-on-ones, understanding what they need, not just from a business standpoint, but sometimes even from a personal standpoint, so that I can touch the buttons that is necessary to get them to understand what it's really all about when it comes to taking care of other individuals.
Hostesses Taylor Shaw and Morgan Smith are two of the 100 employees Winston listens to daily. To me, that's a valid point because people come to work, but they don't leave who they really are. They have maybe health problems, financial problems, family problems. As you say, you need to know the person individually and quite personally.
Well, and that's another great point. I look at it as if all of us are managers. We're all managing something. We're managing our households. We're managing our families. We're managing our finances. And certainly those folks that are coming in to be managed by me are managing things as well. If I'm more equipped by knowing what they're managing so that I can help them along the way with that, they're going to do a better job for me. Therefore, myself, my company, we're going to obviously ensure that we reach our goals as well.
As you think back over a decade or so as a manager, what might be some of the most important lessons that you've learned?
Well, I think the first thing is that you mentioned it earlier, is listening to your people. Sometimes people have some very simple things to say, but they're really huge things in the big scheme of things. And you really got to know how to sort those things out. Bill, I think listening is a huge key for any manager right now, because without that, you're not going to have the right communication, and it certainly can't be just one way. I think the other thing is understanding what people are going through. This is a very, very tough time for a lot of folks. Economy sometimes is not good, and we know it hasn't been that way for several years now. People are struggling, and when they come to work, certainly we understand it's about them being able to take care of their families, but we've got to give them more than that. We've got to make sure that they're in a great work environment. We've got to make sure that they're being made to feel special as well, and know that they are important, and the job that they're doing is important. One of the other biggest things, Bill, I would tell you, is that telling people why. Telling people why we do the things that we do on a daily basis, and getting them to understand that, you will get more buy-in.
And that to me is one of the big differences in the workforce today versus maybe 20 years ago. 20 years ago, if you told someone to do something, they might do it automatically and not question it. But people today, knowing why, what's the value of this? What's your motivation in wanting this? How's it going to help me? How's it going to help the organization? I love that you do ask the question why.
Yeah, with now the way things are, you've got millennials, and people feel that sometimes the millennials don't want to work. And I've found, Bill, that that's just not the case. I've found that they want to understand more about what's going on. They want to be more of a part of what's going on, so that they can ensure that they're in the process. Like you've said, 20 years ago, people just wanted to come in and do their jobs. Well, now people want to be more involved. And I think that communication of listening, communication in terms of getting people to understand what the goals are and telling them why are the biggest keys to management right now.
I would think that there are many occasions when you have to help your wait staff understand how to deal with difficult customers. The great majority, the overwhelming majority of your customers at Olive Garden are satisfied. We know that because of the customer surveys and because of what people tell you and because of the way they come back. You'll recognize these two happy customers as Taylor and Lois Tao, greeted earlier by Winston as they entered the restaurant. There are going to be times when your staff has to deal with, for whatever reason, disgruntled customers, and you teach them how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about disgruntled guests, you don't ever get a guest that, in my mind, in our ability, that we cannot satisfy. There is that 1% there that's going to be very difficult. We chalk that up to just people being people. But at the end of the day, I want my team to feel like there's nothing that you can do or always something that you can do to help someone, make someone else feel special, make someone else feel appreciated. It's important that they do. So many times guests come in from work, they come in from home, they're not having a very good day, and it's our jobs to ensure that we turn that around for them.
Yes, you don't want to add to their problems. You want to help them forget their problems.
We certainly want them to help forget their problems, and we want to put them in an atmosphere that's conducive to that. And if we feel that we've got the right people, you're in the right place, you've given great service, people are going to forget about what was happening next. And just giving a kind word to people most of the time really works.
People need that.
Every day.
Winston, thank you very much. And having talked with you for a few minutes now, it's easy to see why you have been and will continue to be a highly successful manager. Any closing thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you, Bill, for having me today. It's been a very big honor just to sit here and speak with you today. Thank you so much.
Well, it's always an honor to talk with someone who sets the tone for the workforce, who gives the right example, who supports those who work for them. And it definitely shows. Thank you for being with us today.